You're listening to the Manifestation Station podcast. I'm your host, Holly Edwards, and together we can help create your magic. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Manifestation Station. Thank you so much for coming back this week. It was such a pleasure to hear all of your manifesting stories this week. I've had so many messages just saying that you feel like you're really in the zone and that you're ready to get going on your manifesting. And you've also been very kind and generous in sharing your manifesting stories with me. I'm also along the way on this podcast going to share as many stories as I can. I have so many personal stories about my own successes with manifesting and stories of those around me and from strangers who are writing their manifesting stories in. And I think when you can hear other people's stories, you just realize how powerful it is. And it definitely fuels the magic and fuels your passion of manifesting. So this week, we are talking about where your focus goes, your energy flows. As we spoke about last week and will continue to speak about, is that the law of attraction works like a magnet. So what you put your focus on is what will come back to you. So have you ever had those weird serendipitous moments where you'll be talking or thinking about someone and then out of the blue they'll get in touch or you'll get a phone call or a text message? Well, I had that exact thing happen to me yesterday, and it happens all the time. I was thinking about someone yesterday who I haven't seen or spoken to in a few years and who I really, really love, an old friend. And I sent them a picture. I saw an old picture of us and I sent them a picture and I said, I miss you. And they came back with loads of exclamation marks going, I cannot believe it. I was just thinking about you yesterday. Were your ears burning? I was talking about you yesterday. I miss you. Let's meet up. And that's how I describe it. One of those moments, my focus was on this person. And then out of the blue, you know, some people will call it coincidence. It's definitely not. It's where my focus was. And that has been reflected back to me. And that person has got in touch. And I think, you know, this happens with my sister all the time as well, that we'll be talking about like an old film or something we used to watch on the TV when we were younger. And we'll both look at each other and we'll go, well, I bet you that'll be on the TV now. And then lo and behold, a week or two later, we'll, you know, text each other a picture and go, guess what's on the TV? And yeah, it's to do with what you're focusing on. So imagine now that what you're focusing on is not an old friend or a film that you watched many, many years ago, but in fact, your desires or your intentions. Because where your focus goes, your energy flows. So if you're thinking about your desires and you're putting focus and energy into what it is that you want to manifest, if you can raise your vibrations while you're kind of focusing on your dreams, then those things will be reflected back to you in real form into your life. So this is why it's a really, really good idea to create a vision board or a goal board or a wish board or a dream board, whatever it is that you call it. I call it a vision board. I think many of you probably have done vision boards before. We're going to talk about them today and how they can be really useful. And perhaps I might be able to give you some more tips and different ways to help with your process of a vision board. I've certainly picked up some new tips and techniques that I've adapted recently and that I've adopted into my life and onto my vision boards, and I've found them to be really, really useful. So if you haven't done a vision board before, then what it is, it's a board, or I use a pin board at the moment, but I used to do it with a piece of card, and it's putting words and pictures of your intention onto the board so that it becomes your board of your dreams and what it is that you want to manifest into your life. So I have bought a cork board. I actually did a new vision board in January, and my old vision boards, I used to get a really big piece of cardboard, and I used to cover that with pictures and words of everything it is that I kind of wanted to attract in. But this time I went and bought myself a cork board so that I can pin onto the board things that I want to manifest. And I found this really useful this time around because I've actually been changing my board, adding things as I go. And it's quite nice with the pins that you can kind of easily take away and add and move things around as your focus and intentions change. Now, my last board I have to talk to you about because it is the most amazing, magnificent manifesting story ever. And I've got some big things that have happened with manifesting, but this particular thing that I put on my vision board still blows my mind when I think about it. So I'm going to take you back to 5 years ago when I was single and I was living on my own in a lovely flat that I had a lovely time in. And I created a vision board and I got a piece of cardboard, and I went to the local wallpaper shop and I actually got a few samples of really lovely wallpaper. And this is a good idea that you could do to your vision board if you wanted to. I got this really lovely piece of wallpaper and it was kind of purpley and kind of looked a bit universal, and it had stars and it had glitter. And I wrapped my piece of card in that and used sellotape to seal that. And then I put on this board pictures and words of all the kind of things that I wanted to attract. So I had, a picture of engagement ring, and I was single at the time, remember, and I had words like marriage and relationship, soulmate, and a list of qualities that I wanted in a partner. I then had areas of my career that I wanted to kind of advance in, fitness goals. And then because I really wanted to I've been single for a while and I've had a lovely time being single. I was really looking at this point to kind of settle down, meet my soulmate, and get a house of our own and kind of run off into the sunset and live happily ever after. So I had a corner of my vision board, and I think I'd had the list next to it of all the qualities that I was looking for in my perfect partner. And to kind of create the whole picture, I drew a picture of a house just with a felt tip pen on a plain piece of paper, and I drew this picture of a house. And it was a really kind of a simple drawing of just to represent kind of the final step of being with someone and having a house of our own and a garden and the life. It represented the life that I was kind of looking to manifest. So I drew this image of a house, and it looked a little bit cottagey, and it was a double fronted house with its windows and its little door and a tree outside. And in the top right hand window, I drew a couple. So I drew two stick people, one a stick girl, which represented myself, and a stick man next to that picture of myself in the top right window, both waving. And that was just to represent myself with my new partner in my new house, living happily ever after. And I put that picture onto my vision board. I then put this vision board away and carried on with my life. And I was enjoying dating. And I think it must have been around possibly maybe about 6 months later, I met my partner, my now fiance, my soulmate, and we had a lovely couple of years dating together, and we moved into our house together. And I packed up my stuff in my flat, moved into this gorgeous new house, and I was actually unpacking my things when my mum asked to look at my vision board, which I'd just unpacked. And she was the one that actually pointed out, and she stopped and she went, oh my gosh, look at your vision board. And she was pointing to the picture of the house that I had drawn with the couple in the top right hand corner of the window, and couldn't believe it. The house that I had just moved into with my partner, with my soulmate, was identical to the house that I had drawn and put on my vision board. It was laid out exactly the same. The front door was in the same place. The windows were in the same place. There were the same amount of windows. The bricks were the same. And even more shockingly, in the top right hand window where I had drawn the stick couple happens to just be the window of our master bedroom where myself and my partner sleep. And every morning, without fail, no matter what time of day it is, when one of us leaves to go to work or to run an errand, the other one of us waves out of that window at the other one. And it's become such a lovely habit, and it's become kind of a symbol. That window has become a symbol of our love together and our life together. And we never fail to do it. And it is the image on the vision board is completely mirrored, completely matched and mirrored in real life. And still to this day, I have still kept that vision board. I've still got it upstairs because a lot of the things on it have happened and have now manifested. And there are still a few things that I'm kind of looking to achieve from that vision board. So do not underestimate how powerful a vision board can be and how exciting they are to make as well. So what you can do is you can gather things, start gathering things now to make your vision board. So you can grab magazines, newspapers, leaflets. These can be used to kind of cut out pictures and words that you feel align with your desires. When I do a vision board, I also like to go to the shop, whether that's an art shop or I pop to Tesco and I get some stickers and some felt tip pens. You can buy some vision board kits online as well. I actually bought one recently and it came with some really lovely kind of postcards of images, of just lovely images, and you can kind of pick one or a few that align with your desires. And the big tip that I will give you when you're creating your vision board is to bring it to life. Put life and energy into creating a vision board, because the more love and energy you put in, the better, because this will raise your vibrations and it will help to put you on a higher frequency. Now, we've spoken about this before, but if you raise your vibrations, that means that you will be feeling good, you'll be feeling excited, you'll be feeling happy. And those energies and those feelings and thoughts are operating on a high vibe frequency. And as the law of attraction works like a magnet, even just the thought and the process of creating a vision board, those thoughts and feelings will be mirrored, and you will automatically start reflecting or bringing back in or magnetizing thoughts that match your vibrations. And if you are focusing on your dreams and your manifestations, then one, you are focusing on your manifestations, and two, you are raising your vibrations, which means you are going to bring things back to you that match those vibrations and that match the desires that you have put on your vision board. So I did a vision board in January. I did a new vision board in January, and I wrote some words on it. I think it's really important when you do a vision board, and we're going to go through kind of the steps to take in a second, but I think it's really important when you do a vision board to add pictures so that they are visually pleasing and that they excite you, and it's like a lovely piece of artwork. And I think it's good to also put in words so that you can be a bit more descriptive and can actually provide more detail as well for your manifestations. So I think it's quite nice to have a combination of words and pictures, and make it fun whilst you're creating a vision board. You could actually have people over and do it as a group or invite a friend round. I quite often used to in the past quite often have some friends round and we would have a vision board night and a manifesting night. And it's a really lovely night. And there's something about being around people who are also wanting to manifest and who are also thinking about their desires that kind of fuels the passion and fuels the energy. So I think if you can do this with someone or with people, I think it's a really lovely exercise to do. And anything that fuels that energy is a bonus. That said, you don't have to do it with people. I quite often make them alone and I find them very therapeutic, and you can get into a kind of a lovely calm zone. I'll quite often light a candle. I might put some music on. Sometimes I put a really lovely film on that is not going to distract me, but that it just feels like your real happy place. Just creating the right environment to kind of start making your vision board. I think the more love and energy you put into it, the better. So once you've worked out how you're going to make your vision board, the key areas that you should think about or that you could think about when you're creating your vision board are the following. So think about relationships. So that could be relationships in your life already that you want to improve. That could mean with your partner, your romantic partner, or it could be other relationships as well, like improving relationships, family relationships, or friendships. You should also think about your career and business and work out what it is that you want to enhance that area of your life. Another area you can think about is health and physical body. So that could be about improving your fitness or how you want to look in a bikini when you go on holiday. It could be thinking about health and ways to improve your health and how you see your vision of improving your health. You can think about finances and how much you want to be earning, how much income you want to be bringing in, what your dream amount is to have in your bank account. And you could think about travel goals. There are many areas of your life that you can think about adding to your vision board. So, step one, whilst you are gathering all of the things that you can gather to create the physical vision board, it's really important that your first step is to clarify your vision and your intentions. So, this is the great thing about creating a vision board is that it actually really forces yourself to reflect and dig deep about what it is that you really, really want. And take some time over that, because you'd be surprised how many people, including myself at times, sometimes don't actually really know what it is that we want. So get clear, get clarity about your intentions. And as you create your vision board, you may find that those intentions will get clearer as you go. So I actually created a vision board in January. I thought it's time to create a new board with new intentions. And I sat down with all of my images and with a felt tip pen, and I thought, right, let's really think about this. And I sat there and it took me like a really long time to figure out what exactly it was. And anyway, I went on to create this vision board. And, I definitely had some of it right in the direction that I wanted to go. And some of it I felt like I really had to kind of make up and kind of go, yeah, I guess that's what I want. And then a month later, I'd put my vision board away. And a month later, I kept thinking of things and I thought, oh, I know what it is that I want. And I've got more detail to provide. So I actually got my vision board out again. And firstly, I'd actually drawn a few pictures, a few images, just in felt tip pen, and they were in black and white. And all of a sudden, I looked at this vision board and I thought, no, it's not quite right. I took a couple of things off and I'd added some more intentions. And then it sounds really simple, but I coloured in my drawings, and all of a sudden, my vision board came to life. It's like I actually suddenly activated the vision board. So this is where I'm saying that you probably, even before you sit down to do your vision board, if you can, get as clear as you can on your actual intentions. But that said, once you start to do your vision board, I think the process of that helps you to unravel all of the things that you've got in your head and in your life that you want to manifest in. And I think you can get real clarity on that. And that's one of the real perks of creating a vision board. And if you're adding images onto your vision board, which I would suggest that you do, if you're a visual like me, then get creative and make it into a work of art. When I look at my vision board, it makes me happy. I feel it's visually exciting to look at. So I think the more creativity you can put into it, the more likely you'll feel good about it. And being creative is also a therapeutic task. So that will automatically help raise your vibrations anyway. So when we use images convey a huge amount of complex information to our brains in an instant. So this is why vision boards are so effective, because by representing our life goals and our desired future in such an impactful way, vision boards are actually activating our subconscious mind to help us to make decisions that actually support our priorities in life. So it's not just a board full of wishes. It's not wishy-washy. It means that we're actually putting focus on what it is that we want. And remember, where your focus goes, your energy flows. So here are the pros of creating your vision board. It forces yourself to reflect and dig deep about what you really want. So it will give you clarity. It will ensure that your goals are the first thing that you think of every day. And remember again, where your focus goes, your energy flows. It will inspire you and encourage you to look for things in life to support what it is that you desire. It will expand your sense of what is possible and will release the cap of what you think you are able to manifest. This step is really important. And I mentioned earlier about getting a group together, a group of friends together to do a vision board together, which I think is a really lovely idea. But here's something I want you to think about if you're doing that. And I know that I've been guilty of this before. So if you're doing a vision board with friends, do not resist or hold back in putting what it is that you really want on your board. And if you think that you shouldn't put something on it because you feel a little bit silly, or that you think people might make fun of it, or that you feel like the dream is too big, that other people will kind of look down on it, then that means that you're kind of giving off the feeling that you're embarrassed to follow your dreams, and that actually you're showing the universe that you don't believe that you will get it, or that you're not worthy of receiving it because you think you should ask for less. This is really important, that, this mindset will limit your potential in manifesting your goals. There really, really is no limit into what you can manifest. The only limit is within your own mindset. And for an example, people will ask, well, why can't I'm really good at manifesting? Why can't I manifest £1 million in my bank account by next week? And that is because deep down in your subconscious, your thoughts aren't aligned with you thinking that that is actually possible. So you therefore think you need to put something slightly more realistic down when you're manifesting. And to a certain degree, when you're starting out, there is a degree of that. Test yourself, see what you're capable of manifesting. So yes, we'd all love £1 million in our bank account. And the more you work on your mindset and just absolutely removing all limitations, then you can manifest whatever it is that you want. But just remember, as I said, if you're doing that in a group setting, you think, oh, I'll pop that on my board later when no one's around. Then just bite the bullet and put whatever you truly want to manifest on that board without limitations. So back to the pros of a vision board. So I'm just going to repeat that one again so that that goes in. That's expanding your sense of what is possible and releasing the cap of what you think you are capable of manifesting. Another pro is that it will remind you of what is really important and actually reminds you not to sweat the small stuff. These things on your vision board are what you really, really want to manifest and what are really going to improve your life. Do not sweat the small stuff. It is wasted negative energy, worry, anxiety, wasted energy. Another pro to making a vision board is that it will encourage you to let go of what no longer serves you and in your life, and those things that actually you can let go of that don't align with your desires. Once you see on your board of what it is that you actually want to manifest, you realize that you can let go of all those things that are dragging and holding you back and that no longer serve you. We do grow as people, and sometimes it's important to take stock and to release these things that no longer serve us. And that could be anything from relationships to jobs to feelings to hobbies. Also, making a vision board is fun. It is fun, and fun is going to raise your vibrations. And when you're feeling good and you're feeling excited, you will attract more things to feel good and feel excited about. So please don't hold back. As you're listening to this podcast, start thinking about all of the things that you want and maybe that you've never even dreamed may have been possible, because you can manifest absolutely anything. There are no limits. So don't hold back. And if you can, regarding me talking about feeling embarrassed to perhaps put something on your vision board in case someone sees it, you need to remember that if you can speak what you want into existence, then you are activating your manifestations. So if you're keeping these things to yourself and thinking, I really, really want to manifest that thing, but I'm not going to say it out loud because it might seem a bit far-fetched, or I'm not going to tell anyone that, I'm going to keep it to myself. If you can speak it aloud, you are activating your manifestations. You need to get so comfortable in what it is that you want to manifest. Talk about it, think about it, focus on it. And the more you get comfortable with it, the more it doesn't feel like it's so out of reach. So get comfortable. So there's another manifesting story that I have to tell you about, and it's something that happened recently, and it was to do with the vision board that I made for myself in January. So I had all of these little postcards that had lovely, lovely images on. It would be like someone swimming in the sea or someone exercising, and they were just really lovely visual aids to use. So I popped a couple of those on my vision board that kind of aligned with words. So if I said, this year I want to focus on getting really fit and healthy, and then I'd put a picture of the woman running, for example. So one of the pictures that I took out of my postcards was a picture of a yacht in a sunset on the sea. And it was just a lovely, lovely picture. And as soon as I picked it up, it spoke to me. And I pinned it to my vision board in the travel section of where I was kind of just saying I want manifesting some lovely holidays and travel with my partner. So I pinned this on the vision board, and it was just to kind of beef out and kind of just a kind of added visual aid really to my vision board. So what I do is that every now and again I have a look at my vision board. Maybe every few months I have a look. And so I made this vision board in January. I had no holidays planned at this point. And just a couple of months ago, I was moving a few things around, and I actually keep the vision board in a cupboard near my bed. And we'll talk about where to put your vision boards in a second. But I got it out recently because I wanted to add a few more details to it. And I was absolutely floored when I was reminded of the picture of the yacht that I had put on my manifesting vision board. So when I put that picture of the yacht on my vision board, I didn't kind of have anything specific with that. It just represented travel, represented luxury travel. So I was floored because just a couple of months earlier, I was very, very lucky enough to be invited on a yacht trip. And it was 4 or 5 nights abroad in somewhere absolutely stunning on a yacht, to stay on a yacht. Now, I've never stayed on a yacht before. It was a brand new experience for me. And I want to use the phrase once in a lifetime. However, I'm not going to use that because that suggests that I'm not worthy of it again or that I'm not going to manifest it again. But I could not believe it that I had enjoyed this magnificent holiday that was completely complimentary because I was invited on by someone. And I could not believe that it was on my vision board. And what's furthermore to that, that blows my mind even more, is that the picture of the yacht, the actual yacht, was practically identical to the yacht that I'd holidayed on just a couple of months ago. And I still cannot believe it. Just shows what, with that story and the story of me drawing my house, it just goes to show that really, really think about what it is that you want to put on this vision board, because I cannot tell you, I've lost count of the times that these kind of things have happened where you go, "Oh, I didn't even mean to manifest that, but actually it's on my vision board and that has manifested." So I've still got that on my vision board, along with the other things that I put on there in January. And, every time I look at it, I feel excited. I feel excited. And I just touched briefly upon a second ago about the fact that actually I update my vision board from time to time. Now, on last week's podcast, I asked you to kind of get in touch and with any questions that you have about manifesting. And thank you to all those people that did get in touch with all of your questions. Now, there were a couple of questions that came through which really tie in with today's podcast. One of those questions was, can you update your vision board? So the answer is absolutely 1000% yes. Absolutely update it. Like I mentioned before, when I felt that I did mine, and I definitely feel like I needed to add to it as I became clearer. My mind became clearer, my intentions had more clarity. So, therefore, I felt the absolute need to update my vision board. And I actually do this whenever I feel the need. And if you don't feel the need, then it's good just to check your vision board every couple of months anyway, or every 6 months, just to see how you're getting on and to see if there's anything that you want to change. We all grow and we go in different directions, and sometimes we change or adapt what it is that we want to manifest. So, like I said, I added to mine, I took some things away. And what I quite often do is when I check in with my vision board, some of the big things that I'm looking to manifest are still there, but I might be able to provide more detail about those things. And I think that's really important. And we're going to talk about this in another episode, but it's about providing as much detail as you can about what it is that you want to manifest. The more detail you can have, the better. So when I was trying to manifest my soulmate, I had my vision board. This is the vision board that I'd drawn the picture of my house, my future house on. And I had the word soulmate and marriage and happy relationship. And I wrote a list of all the things and attributes that I was looking for in my perfect partner. And I'd quite often add to them. I might have had a date with someone that kind of thought, actually, I'm really looking for someone who is charismatic or loyal or affectionate or knows what they want or has got their shit together. So sometimes it's about going back and providing more detail. This is absolute top tip in anything you are trying to manifest. Provide detail. If even if that's when you're visualizing, provide detail. So if you're imagining and visualizing a new car, what color is it? What does it smell like? Where do you want to drive in it? What adventures do you want to have in it? Just provide as much detail as you can, because the more detail you provide and the more energy you can give that. Remember, where your focus goes, your energy flows. So if you're focusing on all those details, you are going to get those details and those energies back to you. Another question that I received on via Instagram, if you're not following me, I would please do, because I love to hear your manifesting stories. I'm at the Holly Edwards on Instagram and at the Holly Edwards on TikTok. Please get in touch. If you're making vision boards or you have any manifesting questions, please either DM me or tag me when you're making your vision boards, because it's also lovely for me to see people manifesting. It helps boost and raise my energies and my vibrations, and it inspires me. And it also gives me ideas about things that I can add to my own vision board. Someone recently got in touch to tell me that they actually just had a list on their phone and that's their vision board. And I actually loved this idea, and it's not something that I had done before. So I actually adopted it myself. And I thought it's such a great idea because actually it's mobile. You can update it on the go. I like that you can just check in very quickly or every now and again on the move. Perhaps you're on the train and you're going to work and you think, actually, I'm just going to check in quickly with my vision board and my intentions. And again, it's another way of getting really clear on what your intentions are. So I really love that idea. And I've actually started doing that myself now. So thank you for that inspiration. The other thing you can do if you want a mobile vision board on the go is to create your own vision board on your phone through Pinterest, because Pinterest has some amazing images. And again, you can get creative. And if you're commuting and you've got a long journey, what a great way to spend your time, just for even 10 minutes a day, just adding to your Pinterest and getting clear on what it is that you want. And the good thing on Pinterest is, say you're trying to manifest a new kitchen, to start getting ideas on Pinterest, the more that you focus on these details, the likelihood is that you are going to manifest those things in just as much detail. And in terms of our quote for the day, which is where your focus goes, your energy flows. In terms of focusing on things and those serendipitous moments that I talked about at the start of the podcast, it really reminds me of this story actually, when I lived in Australia quite a long time ago, maybe sort of 15, maybe even 20 years ago. And I didn't have much money at the time, and I'd moved over there and I really needed to get myself a car. And I was in Byron Bay and I saw this car go past with a for sale sign on the side. And I thought, oh, that's the car I want. It was a little Jeep, and I thought, I'm going to look so cool in that car, driving along the beach. I could get my surfboards on it. And I thought, that's the car I want. And it whizzed past, and I didn't see it again that day. And I thought, I need to find this car. And I kept the picture and the image of this car in my mind. Now, I didn't know about manifesting at this point, but I kept the image in my head, not because I was trying to manifest, because I knew nothing about it, but because I was desperate to find a car like that. So I kept thinking, oh, it was green and it had a little, soft top on the back. And anyway, a week later, I was in another town and I saw the car again. And this time I managed to go up and I got the number that was written on it if you wanted to buy it. But the price was kind of a bit too steep for me. So I wrote down the number. Anyway, I could not stop thinking about this car. And over the next coming weeks, I went to different towns and I saw this car it must have been, I reckon, up to about 8 or 9 times. I saw this car in different areas, different towns, different kind of car parks. And I thought, I cannot believe, I actually thought this car is meant for me because it keeps coming to me. And that is because that's where my focus was. I kept that image in my head. So eventually I called the number and I offered them a lower price. I said, look, this is what I've got. Would you sell it to me? And they sold it to me. And then I was driving around in that car for a couple of years when I lived there. And when I really think back now, a lot of manifesting sometimes is common sense. But at that time, I fully manifested that car into my life because that's where my focus was. Another question that somebody wrote to me, which ties in perfectly with our vision board chat today, is how often should you do a vision board? Now, there are no set limits to this. Whatever works for you is fine. Now, personally, I would say on average, I probably do one vision board every 1 or 2 years. Now, you could do your vision board. A lot of people like to do them in the new year and do one a year. It's kind of, new year, new you, new intentions. I like to do mine about once a year. But what I normally find that when I do my vision board is when I'm actually feeling a bit lost or directionless, that's when I do my vision board. And I find that kind of when I am lost, I find that doing the vision board really helps to ground me and kind of puts me back on the right path and inspires me and gives me passion about life and the things that I want to achieve. So if you are feeling that way, then I think it's a really good time to do your vision board. And what I would then do is just check in every now and again. Maybe kind of do a 6 month check and just check in and see what it is that you have achieved from your vision board and, what's still outstanding and perhaps things that maybe need a little bit more of your focus just to check your progress, and you can add or remove some of your goals as life changes and works around us. So once you've finished your vision board and you're happy with it and you've done your work of art, or if it's also just fine to do words. If you are a words person, you can do a vision board with just words as well, and that is absolutely fine if that works for you. So once you've finished your vision board, I personally like to put it away. So once I've put all my desires onto my vision board, I feel like I've placed my order and I put my board away. So just like ordering from Amazon, I make my order and then I wait for it to be delivered. I don't keep checking up on the order and keep it out every day to see if I need to order it again. And that's why I like to put mine away. Now, I did used to leave mine out in full view. So it was the first thing I saw in the morning and the last thing I saw when I went to bed. Now, if you feel this feels right for you, you can. But here's my thought on it. The most important step when you're manifesting is to relinquish control to the universe over when and how your manifestations will come to fruition. So I find that by leaving your vision board out and in constant view, it's like every time you look at it, you're wishing, and it can kind of promote a feeling of desperation because every time you look at it, you're wishing and wanting, and it's almost as though you're not concentrating on the now and concentrating on being content in the now. And that's another really important side of manifesting, is that you put out what it is that you want to manifest, but you also then learn and work your life through feeling content and happy in the now, even to the point where if your manifestations didn't come true, you would feel happy. So having your vision board out, I think, can promote this slight feeling of desperation and showing you all the things that you want so badly that you don't have yet. And so you get that feeling that feeling of want instead of feeling as though your manifestations have already been answered and that they're already on their way to you. And I think then by putting it away and put it somewhere reachable, somewhere that you can get it easily. And I think when you then do get your vision board out, it feels exciting. You can kind of look over and think, oh wow, yes, I forgot I'd put that on there, or that looks really exciting. And just time to time you can check in, and you can make that kind of a lovely process of checking in. So I will be running some group vision board making sessions on webinars soon. So please keep your eyes peeled. And if you are interested in that, please just get in touch so I know that how many people would be interested. And I think it'd be really lovely to kind of do it in a group setting. You don't have to be on camera if you don't want to be on camera, but we can talk through the vision board process, and you can imagine, use kind of everybody's energy around you just to kind of help fuel your manifestations. So I will be hosting some group webinars. So keep your eyes peeled for that. If you are going to make your vision board after this, then happy vision board making. Enjoy getting your creative juices flowing. And if you do decide to make your boards, please do tag me. As like I say, I just like to feel inspired, and I just love to check in and see how everybody's getting on with their manifesting. So that is it for me this week. If you have any manifesting questions, anything at all, please DM me at the Holly Edwards on Instagram. I really want to hear your stories and your questions. So this week, I just want you to remember, where your focus goes, your energy flows. Goodbye.